not get a chance to address?
No, I think we covered the issues. You know, you'd always like to have longer, but what I've learned from being a business owner and then even being in politics is you got to be succinct to tell people what you're trying to accomplish. And I wanted to let people know that I've got the experience for the job, and we did that. I did want to get in about the accountability. We weren't asked a question specifically about state cars, but I think that that's something that the voters care about this year. And then throughout the debate, I tried to sprinkle in what my plan for the office was. So I was very satisfied. I feel like I won the debate. I could go back out there if they'd give us another hour.
Other questions?
Yes.
I was looking at your website. I wasn't terribly familiar with what the job of the Secretary of State was. I understand I'm sure one of the jobs of the Secretary of State is to provide security for Capitol grounds.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand in Missouri, they allow citizens to carry while on the grounds. That should reduce the need for armed guards. What do you think of that?
Well, first, let me talk about the fact that you didn't know much about what the Secretary of State's office does. I like to say this is the most important office that no one's ever heard of. Big job responsibilities. Everybody knows about elections and the business office, but we are the caretaker of the state capitol. In regards to security, first, there's two things really. I'd say first, every time I have taken over a new position, whether it was in business or in public office, I always go through an assessment period before I make any huge decision, to change strategy. When it comes to security, I've got familiarity with the Capitol, but I'd also want to listen a lot to what they currently do and the thoughts of the people who are frequent visitors. More specifically about, carrying guns. Arkansas has got a concealed carry permit law that I think's in good shape. One of the people in my staff packs, so they're typically with me, so I'm going to feel pretty safe. And I think that that's an individual choice. You've also got the Capitol Police. A lot of people don't realize there's 19 Capitol Police. They're not on duty, every second of the day, but there's usually 3 to 4 there all the time. So the first I would say is I want to assess the situation more. But in terms of making a big change, I don't know that I would be doing that, unless somebody could convince me that it would be even more safe than it currently is.
I have a question.
Sure.
I know that there have been a few elections in Arkansas that have raised some eyebrows and have probably contributed to a growing culture of mistrust in that office where elections are concerned. Ernest Hemingway once said, if you want trust, you have to, or the best way to see if you can trust someone is to trust them. And so if the voters trust you, if they extend this office to you, how are you going to, can you identify what it is they're going to get in return for putting you into office?
They're going to get, on the state level, Arkansans are going to get exactly what people in Pulaski County have received for the last 6 years. They're going to get great customer service. They're going to get a person who's got a record of election reform. I took over an office that was under grand jury indictment. I've been vetted by the prosecuting attorney, by the U.S. Department of Justice, by a bipartisan task force. So I think when you talk about trust, it comes back to credibility. Who is the credible person? Anyone can stand up in front of a microphone for an hour and say, I'm going to do this or that, but there's credibility. I'm the person who has tons of election experience, and Representative Martin, while a great guy, doesn't have any experience. And it's not just that, he might say, well, I'm not a county clerk, and so I couldn't, administer elections. Fair enough. But he's been a member of the state house for 6 years. He said during the debate that he was in a very high partisan position of being the Republican whip, and so that's why he had to travel to Little Rock frequently and rack up all those miles. Well, that's fine, but what did he accomplish? He didn't, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong on this, but to my knowledge, he didn't file one bill related to election law, not one bill related to any aspect of the Secretary of State. I mean, that lack of planning will show if he actually were to receive this office. You want to trust the guy who's been there, and that's me. Thanks.